Hey guys, so this is another episode of Around the Table GTA. It's another April 2021 episode, and this episode is going to be about failures and blockades. So, I actually did shoot this episode yesterday, but the first time I ran it, there was a bunch of background noise, and then the second time I ran it, there was feedback because of other things. So my whole plan for yesterday was to maybe shoot three episodes, two, 3 episodes, 5 episodes, whatever, just spend my entire day doing that. But things kept happening and it kind of made me a little bit frustrated. So instead of continuing to do that, I just started like cleaning up my room and doing a bunch of other stuff so that I wouldn't be stressed out about it. And we had to remember that in life, you will fail. There will be things that deter you. So even originally, I stopped making some episodes because my mic dropped, my headset dropped, something happened, and luckily everything is still working. My headset's a little bit damaged, so that kind of sucks. And that's another thing that kind of put me off to doing more, because it's just like you invest so much time and energy to get these things and then things don't work out your way. But that's a thing that we have to remember, that in life everything's not going to work out the way that you want it, but you still got to keep pushing forward. And if it's something that you truly enjoy, something that you want to get out there, something that you're passionate about, it doesn't matter what failure you have, whatever blockade you have, you should continue to go towards that, right? Some people blame the devil, some people blame karma or haters, but at the end of the day, if you really want to do something, you're gonna do it. A lot of times those things happen in life or death scenarios. You'll realize what truly matters to you, or when someone passes, or even with what's going on in the world now, people are starting to see what they truly value, whether it's their friends, whether it's their family, whether it's their health, whether it's the things that they have. Your whole mindset has changed because of the blockades that have been put in front of your life. This episode was inspired by someone named Matthew. So Matthew, when you see this episode, this one's to you. We also have to remember that good can come from bad, right? The people who push to be successful or push to get something, they probably didn't have that prior, or it could just be a passion to make their lives better or even the world better, and that generates whatever positive thing that they're trying to put out in the world, right? And when you go on a mission, a journey, however you want to put it, there will be people who see what you're trying to do, and they could either try to help you or they'll put you down, right? If you watch interviews with actors or even rappers or other types of musicians, there's two types of people who are out there. There's the people who really thank their day ones, and the day ones could either be friends or people who supported them at the start, or even people who motivated them to continue with their hustle or their goal or their journey, right? And there's an old saying that game recognizes game, right? There's a theory that girls mature faster than guys do, right? So a girl could recognize something that a guy has, and they'll be attracted to that guy initially before even that guy realizes why he's getting that attention, right? And it comes with your goals as well, right? Sometimes people will say something about you and it's something that you've never even seen in yourself, right? This episode's gonna have a lot of stories where, like, for me, my first kind of instance with a person seeing me more than I thought I was like when I was in grade 3. My grade 3 teacher was like, "Oh, I see you as a leader." And he said that to me, and I kind of just looked at him very confused, because how is the quiet kid who is pretty much like a crybaby — I was a big crybaby at a certain point in my life — is supposed to be a leader, right? I don't like talking to anybody, and the people that I do talk to, I talk to a lot, right? But it's these small qualities that you have, or your interactions, that could show a bigger character once you start to realize what you can do, or even what some people would say what they're put on this earth to do, right? And everyone's different in that sense, where you might be good at something, but someone's better at something that you admire. Like, for me, I think I've said it before, I really admire artists. And by art, I mean like in any sense, whether it's music, whether it's like drawing, digital art, physical art, graffiti. I was really big into graffiti in my preteen ages, right? And it's something that for me is just like, wow, because you have to put a lot of time and you have to sacrifice a lot. And a lot of people who go into those fields, it's really hard to make it, right? And it's hard to stay focused because there's a lot of blockades. There's not a lot of jobs where, oh yeah, I'll just doodle and make money, right? Or even people even supporting you. It's just like you're wasting your time. Whether it's, you want to be the next rapper, even though there's so many rappers and everyone laughs at people trying to rap. It's become a meme kind of, and it's kind of sad that sometimes in your own environment people don't see that talent, right? So that's the other side of artists and actors. Some people are like, yeah, thank God for my day ones, and then other people are like, forget my day ones, they didn't believe in me. They're really coming now that I have the fame and notoriety, right? A lot of people clown the city that I'm from because there's so many lame things that happen, and there's stereotypes, especially for the guys and girls. And we have the highest insurance rate in the country. I think it's either number 1 or like it's in the top 3 now, but especially like for our province, or for people who don't have provinces, that's like your state, right? And there's a lot of big L's, and an L is a loss for someone who's listening to this in the future or something, when L becomes a relevant slang. Yeah, and that deters a lot of people. That makes people want to leave the city, right? It's a blockade. It's seen as a failure, right? But a lot of people who grow up here and leave and go somewhere else, a lot of people admire their talent. And it's just like, I didn't get this recognition when I was back home, but on a global scale, people see me and they're like, wow, like Tory Lanez is from here, Michael Cera is from here, Alicia Cara is from here. There's a lot of people who grew up here, and it's sad that a lot of people, our area had such a bad recognition. People would lie and say that they were from like another city or town because of kind of like the shame that it came with it. And that's something deep and psychological, where when you have your craft, you need to hone in on your craft, and it doesn't matter where you're from. You have to do what you can to push out of that place if you want to leave that place, or you could stay at that place and make it better. But that's something that you have to decide, and you have to realize that potential, whether someone tells you or whether you believe in yourself and it blossoms, right? That's the reason why Facebook bought IG, right? Back in the day, I used to say Instagram is just facebookprofilepicture.com, because that's what it was. It wasn't anything big. It was a site that you post a picture and people would like it or they would comment. It's basically Facebook cut into like a 16th, right? Even I didn't have an Instagram. Someone made me an Instagram for me to get on Instagram. That's how little I saw of Instagram, but Facebook saw the potential and bought them out because they saw what was happening. It's the same thing with Google buying YouTube, where it's like they've made a platform that works, and instead of us trying to compete and make another platform, let's buy out this platform and let them do the work, and we'll slowly put our people in, right? Another thing with failures and blockades is that, you know, you have to take charge of things when they're falling apart, right? You have to see if it's worth going through or it's time to move on, right? It's kind of like a relationship. Sometimes you want it to work, but it wasn't meant to work. So you have to take charge and figure out, is this working for me? What else can I do? Can I see myself doing this forever, right? Or until, you know, you're gone. And for my last story, it's my favorite story. It's one of my favorite stories, and I tell people this story when I'm trying to motivate them or make them realize that you might see yourself in a certain way, or other people might see you in a certain way, and sometimes you have to fail extremely for you to grasp a concept, right? Every once in a while I do ask for feedback, sometimes at work, sometimes with people that I trust, right? Because sometimes when you talk to people about your issues or something that you want to work on, they'll see it as complaining, or they'll take a negative approach on it. And that's why you have to really be careful with those type of things, who you confide in, because sometimes people really don't want the best for you, or they're ready to hear you complain about something so that they could tell someone, right? Or, you know, they're jealous of where you are and they're trying to throw a wrench in your mood, your spirit, your vibes for whatever you claim. So that's another thing that's very important. But this is a story that I tell all the time. And probably like 11 years ago, I was in this program. I really needed a job. I was in a really crazy situation, and we did this job training, and, you know, it was paid. You were basically getting paid to job search. It was great. I learned a lot of tools. I learned how to cold call. We don't really cold call anymore, but I learned a lot of things that I didn't know. And I was one of the few people who had trouble finding a job, even though, you know, on paper and how I was in that environment, everyone was kind of surprised that I didn't land something. So I had this interview at a place, I think it was called Tiger Direct, something like that. And what happened was I got to the interview and I was really dead on being a cashier, right? So I was going through the interview, and they basically told me that there was no cashier opportunities, but there was something in electronics. But at that time, I was so focused on getting a cashier job that I didn't realize that they were basically telling me, we can't hire you as a cashier, but we can put you in the electronics department if you are interested. But I was kind of like, no, I want to be a cashier. And I still kind of remember the look on the interviewer's face. And he just looked at me and he was like, after a little bit of a back and forth, he told me like, oh, okay, we'll call you back. Right. And we'll call you back is either one or two things. They're actually going to call you back because they're considering you, or it means this is over. Right. So, I was really nervous, and, I was just trying to stick with the script and everything. And I went back to the place where we have the program and I told them the story, and half the staff laughed and the other half just kind of like looked at me like, wow, did you actually just do that? Right. So, they're laughing, and I asked them, what was wrong? What did I do? And they explained to me what I explained to you guys, where I was basically given a job and I said no because I was so focused on getting one particular job at the place. Right. So when they told me that, I was completely blown away. I was upset, because I think I was looking for a job for like 6 weeks. I had a weird cleaning job for like 2 days and I got let go. And I really was in a bad situation at that time. And, that experience really changed me. And it made me realize that I have to look at the bigger picture sometimes. And, sometimes you just need to get your foot in the door, whether or not it's the job that you want. You have to realize what you need at that time. You can try to go into a field where you could expand your experience in what you already know, or you could gain experience in something else where you never know, you might prosper more in that. That might be your calling. That might be something that you were secretly good at that you never knew. Right? Yeah, and that really upset me for like a good 2 weeks, right? I was still trying to get a job, but at the back of my head, I'm like, I can't fail at an interview like that ever again, right? So maybe 2 weeks after the 2 weeks, so like a month later, I landed 2 jobs. I had an interview at Metro, and I had an interview at Sellers. I had 2 interviews in the same week, and I went back to the program people and I was telling them the scenario, and they're like, if you could work both jobs. What else are you doing, right? Because at that time my goal was to either be working or at least save enough money to get to school. And long story short, I got hired at both places, and by the end of that summer I had enough money saved to go for school, and I went to school later that year while working 2 jobs, part-time jobs, by the way. So sometimes failure pushes you to success, right? You can't be afraid of failure. You can't be afraid of, getting rejected or getting blocked, right? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get somewhere, and if you're getting blocked and you don't do anything, you're going to stay at the same spot, right? And is that really what you want? Don't you want to go further? Don't you want something to change, right? You have to remember what your goals are, right? And now that I think back at it, it's kind of good that I did lose that opportunity there, because I don't know if that place still exists, that working place. Even the 2 jobs that I worked at that time, only one exists today, right? And there were so many people that I've met and so many different experiences that I went through at that 2 jobs, that even one of those jobs, all the experience, all the stress, all the little things that I picked up kind of helped me grow into the person that I am now, and it actually helped me land the job that I am in now. And just like how my grade 3 teacher said they saw me as a leader, I'm more of a leader in what I do at my workplace. And that all stemmed from being blocked and failing and not realizing something, something that now that I look at it, it's like, this is so obvious, right? And this is another reason why I argue with people about, common sense. Common sense is only common if it's common in your area, right? It's like you don't wear a suit made of money and walk down the street in the hood, right? Because people are going to steal your clothes, right? But if you live in an environment where everyone has money suits, you're not going to be like, oh, it's a bad idea to wear a money suit. I know that's a really stupid analogy, but sometimes when something seems so obvious to you, it looks like that, right? So I'm gonna cut this episode short. Basically what I'm trying to say is, life is a fight, right? Nothing is made easy, but it becomes easier the more we work at it. And your failures and blockades, they can define you, right? But it depends on where you want it to go and how you want it to define you. Because for me, now I could say that those failures and blockades have made me a better person. I'm not going to say that it's the reason why I'm not doing more today. It's the reason why I am doing more today. And maybe all of that added up to me getting a podcast, but who knows, right? But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Have a nice day and check out the next episode. See you later.